We're back for our second women's group stage game. I'm Mike Beaton, he is Kurt Schaefer. It's the California Eagles and Massif Salt Lake in our second women's group stage game. Dallas beat Vancouver in our first. And we're going to get a whistle there. Just underway. Takeaway for Massif Salt Lake. And number 18, Thana Matos. We'll do our best to get names and numbers lined up. As we've discovered, though, Kurt, that sometimes folks are scrambling and the lineups you get don't match up with the numbers that you see on the court.
Yeah, that's the beauty of amateur handball in the United States. A lot of times you'll end up with a situation where someone will write down a 16 actually means a 15. Forget a jersey at home, got to change. Then, well, frankly put, players aren't really thinking about broadcasts or anything like that. That's a shot over there by SLC Massif up against, who was this other team again?
California Eagles.
Eagles. All right, so the Eagles are the newer ones on the field. Something happened over in California. They have a lot of players who traditionally play for San Francisco out here, but now are suiting up under them. And that's another goal for California Eagles.
So that's their first.
Yes, sir.
As they get the opening salvo here.
All right.
And I was looking for a roster. I don't see one on the documents that we have available.
Yeah, I don't think California Eagles gave us one. So unfortunately, we are going to have to go off of just knowing the names of the Massif women's team. Good news is I practiced with a few of them, so that's pretty cool. It's Tina Matos at number 18 over there at right back. And Massif loses possession. California will take that one out of the bag.
And notice they're using the first names on the jerseys for Massif Salt Lake. Number 9. You know what? I should put up a graphic with my social handle. If you know the names, just tweet me or send me an email.
Tweet, email, or any of the other ways. Some of these teams use WhatsApp. Some use GroupMe still. I remember college. All right, Eagles out of the backfield, looking to cross. 25 goes in, shoots from the side, and that'll be, she's drawn down for a foul. Just for the sake of the audience out there, we'll do a brief readout of the lineup roster for Massif. Once again, we do apologize. We do not have California Eagles names. So for Massif at number 1, we have Afumo Waindam. Number 3, we have Bianca Meyer. Number 4, hello? Oh, there we go. Number 4, we have Soka, hailing out of Mongolia. She goes by Soka. Number 5, we have Kia Hicks. Number 6, we have Aidanara Perrine, goes by Adja. Number 7, we have Katiana Saladana. Number 8, we have Natalia Achim. Number 9, we have Anna Sloth. Number 11, we have Mira Chu. Number 12, we have Sophie Broadhead. I believe she's back there in goal right now. Number 13, we have Ingrid Lemos. Number 14, Roxana Iona Chirilia. Sorry if I got that one wrong, Roxana. Number 6, we have Marilia Contagesi. Number 7, we have, or excuse me, number 17, we have Myra Macedo Beck. Number 18, we have Tina Matos. And finally, at number 21, we have Lei Moraes Nascimento. Still sitting on a 0-1 to the Eagles as Massif takes it out of the backfield. Matos interplaying with the center back, goes out wide to the wing, gets the shot off, and that'll put Massif on the board. Nice wing shot by number 21, that's Lei.
Lei Moraes Nascimento, and yes, the pronunciation guides, if we miss any, we extend our apologies. We were scrambling up until this morning, getting everything prepped.
Ooh, there we go, number 3 going for a block. And Anna Sloth holds on to possession. That'll be Massif's ball.
They're looking to push here, but the ball was poked from behind by number 13 of California.
Yeah, you know, whenever players get the chance to do something really cool.
Traveling call.
Traveling call. We always want to emphasize it, but oftentimes you get kind of lost in that transition there.
That's probably you every time you're on the attack. You see a fast break.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the coolest thing I can do?
Yeah, exactly, right. Everyone wants to go for a 360 or something crazy, but, you know, fundamentals, I say as if I can do any of that. Don't worry about it. All right. Looks like a little scrimmage down there on the line for Massif. Loses possession. Eagles out. Oh, Massive interception on the short number 3.
That will be a foul.
Bianca Meyer there going for a nice steal to give Massif back possession out of the backfield.
You know what, though? It was a foul on California, but perhaps a well-taken one because that prevents a fast break chance.
Yes, so it kind of is like soccer rules where if it's too obvious of a scoring opportunity, that can be a 2-minute or even a red card. But there, with just too much going on, I don't think they're going to ever have any chance of giving anything out for that. Matos passes off to the wing. And that's a goal for Katiana Saldana. Nicely taken by the wing shot there.
That makes it 2-1. California, one of the newer teams, as Kurt noted, in this tournament. From the left side, left corner, another tackle, another collision.
I always think it's one of the more interesting things about handball, how you almost bait fouls because they're, yes, obviously they're serious, but most of them are really just resets. Right.
From the middle, no shot there. Cross, they go to the right.
Yep. And
Mayer.
There we go. Mayer holds
double dribble.
Yeah.
Was able to keep it in play, but the double dribble call.
That's called by referee Joshua for Stoffel. He's out of Dayton, Ohio. And California will restart.
He was helping officiate our first 2 group stage games last night. Even stopped by the broadcast booth to share his insights. California nets one to make it 2-2. Number 9.
Now, I've been overall very impressed with the quality of every game that I've seen so far. The 2 last night were exceptional, I thought, with was that the Norsemen or was that Klebu who took the win over Nyack late in the day?
It was Norsemen who came on late. That first game was a 30-30 tie.
Oh, yeah, that's always good to see. You expect it to be about 27-27 for the score. So anytime you get into the 3s or 4s, it's really a high-powered offense kind of game. And that's another turnover from Massif, and Cal Eagles will start from their keeper.
We've got a tight one here so far to start. 22 minutes left and 2-2 the score. I've noticed in women's handball, they're a little lower scoring. There's more of a defensive element, at least from that first group stage game. We'll see what happens in this one. The attack sails wide left for number 25. And picked up by Massif. Their keeper is Sophie Broadhead, number 12.
Sophie Broadhead, one of the most impressive American side goalies for the women's games I've seen. She basically plays in any tournament that I've ever been to that has a women's section. So good to see her in form today.
And saw Taina Matos. She's got the Brazilian flag on her jersey, but right now California flags down another goal to take a 3-2 lead.
That was an exceptional breakaway goal there. And Sloth from the middle. Now, I will say it's definitely, I don't necessarily think it's anything other than just the American scene. Women's handball is about the same intensity, same scoring as men's in Europe, which is really cool to see. The unfortunate thing is there's just simply not enough women in America playing for it to be quite the level of men. So for any of our listeners out there, if you have any female friends who are interested in picking up a sport, by all means, check out Team Handball.
California had a fast break chance, but I believe Broadhead was able to get the stop on that last play.
Yeah, she's out there celebrating. She knows she did well.
And I've noticed for Massive Salt Lake, we have a few Brazilian natives on the team. Matos is one of them. They've got the Brazilian patch above their names on the jerseys. The numbers, I should say, and names.
Yeah, this SLC women's team has really grown in the past year or so.
Whoa!
Wow!
Speaking of growth, that was instant growth. on the part of Ingrid Lemos.
Yeah, Ingrid Lemos, they're breaking through. That was an awesome goal. Exactly what you want out of a pivot position. And that'll be a foul.
Drawing it was number 13 of California. And we were talking about the discrepancy that you get as a defender, but you have to make sure your assignment doesn't get past you.
Yeah, it's yeah, we don't want people getting hurt out here, and I think sometimes you know, if you're put into a bad position as a defender, you'll try to wrap a little bit more than you should, and that's when you get into foul trouble. But other than that, you know, stay in front of your player, hit him hard, hit him safe, and generally you're going to have good defense.
.30 roughly left in the first half, 3-3 the score in our other women's group stage game. Everyone else, oh, here comes the ball. It's going to roll right by us.
Yeah, ball goes out off of Saldana on the wing, and Cal will take that one. Referee calls for a technicality. Need to pass it in from around where it went out.
We've seen that a few times. Teams looking to push, but officials will call them back. Oh, California almost coughed it up. Extending well outside the 9-meter line. Now they look to attack. Grab and a foul.
Good defensive foul for number 5. That
Kia
is
Hicks.
Kia Hicks there. She's out of Colorado, actually. And
from the corner, it's number 6.
The referees will give that. I saw line, but that's why I'm here and they're there.
4-2 is the score. 4-2 is the score. We just got that corrected. Handoff.
And that'll be an interception. Cal takes it. Eagles looking to get a breakaway here. And good defensive stop there by Bianca Meyer.
For a moment, I thought it looked like her arm got around the neck area of the offensive player, but instead just a common foul.
Oh, definitely a little harder one, but hey, the ref calls what the ref calls, and that will go wrong side. Nope, that is not a goal off of California's wing shot there.
Well, it was the wrong side.
Yeah.
Wrong side of the net.
Wrong side of the net. Right,
So
Massif clearly looking to try something here. We'll see if they can respond at all. You got Anna Sloth down there in pivot. She's on the right side. And Meyer looks, calls the foul, or draws the foul.
And we're drawing some newcomers here, but for any newcomers among our viewing audience, what is a pivot in handball?
So a pivot, the way I always describe, is analogous to the center in basketball. Now, with that said, they are not at all the same. The job of the pivot is to be a disruptive force on the defensive line. So for all the complete newcomers, you see that circle there, the pocket. Nobody, offense or defense, besides the goalie, can step inside of that. So the pivot's job, since they can't step inside of it, but they are on offense, is to kind of break apart the defense and either look for openings to get a pass into the middle, or if you can, simply make space for a back to get in there and get a shot off. California breakaway jump, number 6. Oh!
Kick save.
And that's why Sophie Broadhead is one of the best in the game. Excellent stop there.
That's the second time she has stopped a transition attack for California, and that could be crucial later on. That will go against Salt Lake, it looks like.
Yeah,
Yes.
that ball will stay down there.
It's always tough when you're watching these calls to see, did someone get in the zone first? Was there contact? And how the officials sort that out, I have no idea, but that's why I'm here. Oh, they're going to award a free throw.
And that'll be a penalty, and all right, good. Number 15 sinks it in for California. It's a bit of a technicality. I know they're called free throws in basketball, but these are more analogous to soccer penalty kicks, so those would be called a penalty throw.
Penalty throw, okay.
There are free throws. Those are from the 9 usually, and they come up in different situations.
I have heard the term free throw when I've watched volleyball broadcasts, and Salt Lake gets one back on a shorthanded goal. It's 4-3.
Yes, sir.
It looks like. That's what I read on the scoreboard. And we've got all Dallas players helping out here. They're coming off that big win, and here they are helping us with this game.
Absolutely. An obligatory thank you to all of the players and team staff that have helped out to put this tournament on. It's never really have enough help, and it's awesome to see that coming around to you guys. So thank you all for that.
Quick stoppage here for an injury. Massive Salt Lake serving a suspension. I recognize one of the Dallas players, I think Rafa Abdallah. Who else do we have up here? I can't make out the numbers, but how often? Well, we get a penalty throw.
Penalty again, and that will be sink number 13. And that will be called off. So
they blew the whistle right as the shot was fired. I was going to ask you about that.
So if the you obviously have 2 feet. If the planted foot, yeah, I know. If the planted foot moves too much or really at all, the referee will actually disqualify the shot all entirely, and it'll just go to the goalkeeper instead. So
akin to a balk in baseball, I think.
Kind of, yeah. You can't really, you can't move too much. So, for example, you have to set up behind the line, and then you can't throw. You can't throw while, say, jumping or anything like that. That foot has to stay firmly planted.
Your pivot.
And there we go. That's a firm miss. But solid defense by number 21 there, Leigh Moraes. And a Sloth thought about it. Still thinking about something.
Matos. Out to Meyer. Around.
And dishes it too far wide for the wing. That'll be Cal Eagles ball out of the goalkeeper.
4-3 the score. About 13:20 left in the first half. Mike Pete and Kurt Schaefer here for this game. Errant throw by California will hand the ball back to Massif Salt Lake. Nascimento over to Meyer up the middle. Matos.
Matos looking down for the wing. Oh, she didn't turn around in time. Katsiana Saldana. And the referee says that is going to be goalkeeper ball. Yeah, both teams' coaches are getting pretty animated here. I think they want a nice breakaway before halftime. And just like that, the transition player in, number 5, Kia Hicks, gets a steal, passes it down, and that's too far for number 21, Leigh Moraes.
Yeah, Hicks re-entered the game just as the suspension, I believe, expired. Yes, we've got 6-on-6 now. And the first of 3 group stage games. Just about everyone you see today will play 2. We'll wrap up group stage play tomorrow, and then we'll have our placement games on Sunday. Championships and 3rd place.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how the rest of the group stages shake out after this. And looks like Massif takes a timeout. Yes, they do. That'll put us into, I think that's the first time out of the half.
First time out. And a quick reminder, you get 2 plus a flex, 1 for each half, and the flex you can use at any point.
Yeah, that confused us a little bit earlier in the game I played in Columbus. Most of the tournaments I've been to, you get 1 in each half. So the flex, when they called that, I got a little confused. Was trying to maybe get some sympathy out of the refs there, but they said no. Rules for this one are 2 and a flex.
Well, I get confused on a daily basis.
Yes, amen. So I was mentioning earlier, but so this Massif team has really come around the past year or so. I mean, you look at the roster, you've got Salt Lake City making the majority, but probably minority of the actual players teams, with 3 women out there representing Denver usually, with an additional one from Vegas who represents Denver. Beyond that, though, we've got players from Denmark, Washington, Brazil, Romania. Very, very diverse. So it's actually really cool to see them really come onto the scene. I remember some of their earlier games definitely looked rusty. Definitely looked like they didn't necessarily know where they were going to be all the time on the field. But they've definitely come into it, and they've become a very competitive team for the women's track.
Back to action with 11:38 left in the first half. Mike Beat and Kurt Schaefer with you. We'll wrap up the first leg of women's group stage play. The men in Division II will come back here to Court 2 for their second round of group stage action. California getting the takeaway.
Yeah, and Massif looking like they're making some pretty serious subs with number 8, Natalia Chim from Chicago coming in. She's usually very deadly for the inter team that they have out there. So we'll see if she can kind of push Massif towards some more goals here in a minute.
And this is a one-goal game. A lot of defensive soundness from the two sides, Kurt, but it won't take much if either of these contenders can build a rally to pick up momentum and set the tone.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, silly things sports announcers say, but both of them are clearly trying to go on a rally, maybe get a little bit of a 3 or so goal lead, especially before half. That's huge for your momentum, but hey, both defenses are holding strong, so I don't think we're going to see a breakthrough here. I think it's going to go into half, probably either tied or with a 1-goal lead for each.
Well, Broadhead on one side, we're at
there
a tie
we go.
now.
Just like that, Natalia Chim putting her first in the goal.
I was going to say Broadhead doing her best to keep it within reach on the Massif Salt Lake side. She's got a couple of fast break saves.
Oh, absolutely. She's been excellent today.
And we are even at 4. From the middle.
And that's another interception. Chim grabs it.
I wonder if Hicks got a piece of that just as the ball got away, but still a turnover nonetheless.
Chim, interplay with the winger, looks to make a move, passes the pivot, and that'll go right at the goalie. And it looks like the referees are going to give it to him, though.
That's Roxana Churla, number 14.
Dina Matos out on the right now. She started to the left.
On the move and taking a spill was Leas Moraes Nascimento. And Kurt, as I'm looking at some of the folks coming in, this Massif Salt Lake team, they've got a lot of length, a lot of height on their side.
Yes, they are definitely on the taller side, especially for the women's track. I think that's so much of an advantage in sports that we're used to, like football and basketball. It's not a requirement in handball, but no one's ever going to say no to a taller player, right?
Penalty throw coming up for Massif Salt Lake.
Number 8, it's him to take. And she'll sink that. I believe that's Salt Lake's first lead of the day. Am I right, or is that
I believe so. With 8.5 to go, and I didn't see what transpired that led to the penalty throw. I know we've seen a few situations where the defense goes into that 6-meter zone, that pocket as you call it. And yeah, California with a quick score.
I think they were just having trouble covering up Roxana Churilla, but I don't think Massif is complaining.
We are tied at 5 following that last goal by California Eagles. Here is a Chim.
And she'll lose possession, but they'll retain it on the foul.
Drew the foul on number 11. So they will restart at the 9-meter line. Leas around traffic and in. You saw Nascimento go one way and then cut back right to get that opening she was seeking. California recovers.
And number 33 sinks it.
With the one hopper, as it looked like the ball was going to leak out and go the other way. Still a tight one, and now a couple of players take hold. Matos getting the reset. Matos again. Hicks to Chirilla.
And Chirilla with a great pivot goal. That's exactly what you want to do. Make your openings as a pivot. Grab the ball when it's there, and it's as soon as you get that ball, turn and shoot. No need to wait around. Don't let people wrap you. Just get your shot in. Do enough of those, and they'll start going in.
There's a saying in basketball, a sport that I've covered extensively, you're never more open. As we've got a grab foul on a Chim, you'll never be more open than when you first receive a pass.
Yeah, I'd say it's about the same here. I mean, there are situations where you can break away from someone, but it's always better to just react when you get the opportunity.
It looked like Chirilla stepped inside the pocket because we've got a penalty throw coming up.
Yes, sir. Once again, for everyone out there not familiar with the rules, you cannot play offense or defense inside of the pocket. You will get called a foul. Offensive fouls, turnover, defensive fouls, and the offense gets a free shot on goal.
And California making the most of it.
And Massif
Overthrow.
wobbling in the backfield.
Of course, you can retrieve it. However, California
13,
times
breakaway.
the pass.
Oh, and it's right past Broadhead. That was a great defensive play by 13 for Cal Eagles.
I've seen the basketball equivalent of that many times where a player, if they can time those routes, you get a free ball and a free lane.
It's such an athletic play to make too, man. I'm nowhere near that level. It's crazy to see the people who can time that perfectly.
Back-to-back scores in that fashion for California following the turnover as the pass got bounced off a Massif player's foot.
I believe that's 9-7 now, right?
9-7 is the score with 9:40 to go.
Well, that's exactly what he was looking for, but Natalia Chim not going to let him have it easy.
All right, take that back. 4.5 to go. They do say time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, for sure, you know.
Oh, 9-8 is the score I see now.
9-8. Yeah, Chim sunk that last one. And Broadhead with another block.
We're right next to the scoreboard, so we have to lean over to take a few peeks. Leas tried to take a peek at the net and instead bounced it wide left.
Yeah, she's probably going to want that one back later considering how tight this score is. But, I mean, honestly, when I was doing my prep work for this, Cal Eagles, that name, for whatever anyone in American handball has a brand name, that's a pretty strong one. So I'm very happy to see this is not just a competitive game, but frankly put, Massif have looked the better team for quite a few of these minutes. So, and just like that, turnover for Massif. That's number 5, Kia Hicks with the ball, and
travel.
Just painful to see those things happen. And that'll be a timeout for the Eagles. A little bit of a problem there between the table and the refs, but Cal Eagles has possession and has laid down the timeout card. And it looks like we have a little bit of a disagreement between the scores for Eagles versus Massif here. Both coaches are pleading their case.
So the score is 9-7. California over Salt Lake.
And the referee comes over to us.
Okay, so they have 9, but they swapped home and guest, I think is what happened on the scoreboard, and that's what led to the discrepancy. So 9-7 is the correct score.
9-7 for the Eagles. All right, and after that discrepancy is resolved and the timeout is over, Massif breaks, Cal breaks, and it looks like we're going to get back to action here shortly. For everyone watching at home, though, to confirm, we have the California, I believe, Golden Eagles, that or I'm completely misremembering, they're wearing gold, on 9, and Massif Salt Lake City, not Massive, Massif, it's a type of rock formation, at 7.
Just over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Mike Beaton and Kurt Schaefer with you.
And Broadhead collects a roller of a pass. And Achim going for it. Natalia Achim sinking one home, lowers that lead to just 1 point.
California with the reset.
Eagles looking for something. Massif stands strong, though.
Well, when you've got Chirilla leading that wall, being one of those pivots that you spoke of on either side of the court, that's not easy to get around.
No, it is not. Now, I've heard of, well, we'll wait for the action, wait for an interplay here. And that'll be a foul on Massif. That is one of the first bits of action for number 11 for Massif, Mira Chu, out of Seattle, Washington, currently residing in San Francisco. But it's, oh, and looks like we have a down player as well.
.210 left in the first half. And Kurt, the California player who's being looked at by the trainer, I saw her hit her head on the sport court as she went down, and that's always a treacherous position.
Yeah, these courts are not soft. They are rollout courts, so they're not quite as hard as a hard court like you'd be used to over in basketball or really even actual handball courts, but they are not exactly plushy or anything. And it looks like she's up under her own power, so it's good to see. And people give her a round of applause. It's number, I believe, 95 coming off for California.
25 looks like.
I cannot read. I am blind. I can be blind so long as she's okay.
19 will check in for her. And it will be Eagles ball.
Before that pause, I was going to say, so there's 2 defensive structures that I know of. One is called the 6 flat, where exactly as it sounds like, all 6 players stand on the line. The other is a 5-1, where you usually see when you want someone to have an isolated one-on-one position against a particularly good or dangerous player. Looks like Massif and Cal are both playing 6-1 or 6-0 right now. And that's number 13. Shoots it at Broadhead. That hit her face. What's the referee going to call, though? Sophie looks to be okay. And that'll be a 2-minute for number 13. So one of the things team handball does differently than other sports with a goalie specifically, if the ball is thrown and contacts the goalie's head and the goalie does not move to use it as a, to block, it can be a foul, it can be a 2-minute, or it can even be a potential red card removal from the rest of the game. So They do not mess around when it comes to your shots. You should never shoot in a position where you think it's going to hit the goalie's head.
So we've got about 1:40 to go following the suspension. No, okay, I thought it was the suspension. No, I do see 6 out there.
Really?
Or
Interesting. I could have sworn.
Yeah, I thought I saw the 2-minute signal myself. But we're at even strength.
Yeah, wow, okay. I saw 2 go up. Must have come down instead. I don't know.
No, I was with you.
Once again, there's a reason that we're here and they're there, so.
California scoping the perimeter. Now from the middle. Oh,
and
handoff.
Chim collects a bobbled pass.
Hicks, look out. Goodbye.
Number 5, Kia Hicks with a great breakaway goal.
45 seconds left. We're even at 9. Hicks, to me, Kurt, has been waiting to make that kind of momentum-turning play.
Honestly, she's been extremely impactful the whole time she's out there, so it's not a surprise to me that she's the one that ends up really putting that in Massif's hands right now, especially as we get to halftime. Cal was up too, but as I said, I'm not going to be surprised if this one goes into halftime tied up.
California.
And that will be a 2-minute on a Chim. She knows as soon as it happened.
With 9 seconds left. So California will start the second half effectively with a woman up.
Yes, and for everyone at home, 2 minutes do carry over into the second half. California looking to strike right now. 9 seconds. And they make it happen. Number 11 for California sinking it in. Massif not going to have time to do it. And that'll go into halftime. Kia Hicks, valiant effort, just doesn't have enough time to get through that line, though.
10-9 the score. Kurt, this one's been tied all the way through. Could that suspension on a Chim provide an opening for California to start the second half?
Honestly, I think it already did. I mean, I know that the goal was scored from the left, but being down a person already shifts your defense over to a 5. It's never easy to defend a wing shot with 5. I think that overall, I've been very impressed by Massif out there today. Cal Eagles has certainly done their thing too, so I don't think either team's too upset right now. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Massif to exploit some height differences out there. I don't think this is going to turn into either team fighting for their life, though. I think this will be solid for the rest of the game. How are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's going to be a photo finish. These two have been awfully, awfully close. I am curious if folks like Hicks, who got that takeaway and turned it into a goal, someone like her could be that X factor that really stirs things up for Massive Salt Lake.
I could see it. You know, in any team sport, there's those players who just kind of have that ability to turn it on. You know, clutch factors, they can call it, they can call it whatever they want. I do think I've seen a lot of that out of Hicks and a Chim so far. I do wish we had a freaking name cards for the California players. It just feels unfair talking too much about Massive. They've been just as excellent out there.
Oh, absolutely. And
number 13, I believe, she's been doing just amazing job out there. But I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, and we do want to extend any apologies to California fans tuning in. We are not intentionally ignoring them, but without names, we can't really tell you who's who in that sense. But we'll find out what the second half has in store for us in just a few minutes.
Absolutely, and as a injury update, I'm not confident that number 25 is going to be returning for California. She is currently undergoing a little bit of medical assistance.
I got you though.
Kurt and I were curious about one thing because it looked like there was a sequence where we thought we saw like a suspension signal.
The 2 minute when the goalie got hit in the head.
Goalie got hit in the head. Initially, I saw a 2 minute.
So he signaled a 2 minute initially. I waved it off because what had happened, she did get hit in the face, but what had happened, her hands were like this, and it went, it ricocheted off of her hand. So it didn't ricochet a lot, and hence why it still hurt her, but that is why.
So had it hit her in the head directly, that would have been a 2 minute?
Correct. Yeah, but since she had a position and it deflected, it has to hit her. It has to hit the goalie's face unabated. That means both the ball was unabated and the shooter was unabated. So in that instance, everything was good except for the ball hit off of her hands.
And can they call anything besides a red if it's a face cut? Like, can it be a 2?
Oh yeah, it can be a 2.
Okay.
It's a minimum of a 2. In a situation like that, it's only a 2. The only time it will be a red is on a 7.
Really?
The only reason
it could be a red if it was like a very obvious.
I mean, if it's malicious, then yes. But in most instances, like 99.99% of the time, if it's a live action play, the player literally will stop and be like, "I'm sorry." So normally, you know, it's not malicious. Well, it looks like someone over there's got double digits. I'm gonna guess it's Norway.
Huh?
I'm gonna guess it's Norway.
You don't think San Fran's a super sleeper?
I don't think he's scoring. No, because I think you're Rottweiler, and then you are. I was calling your game, and some of the.
Better than a random chance. It was,
Hello, mic check, mic check. Testing, there we are.
I give us a 12 points.
Let's take a 7 if we get it. That's the only way we get it.
We'll be starting the second half in just a moment here at the U.S. Handball Union National Championships. Mike Peden and Kurt Schaefer with you for this women's group stage game, Massif Salt Lake and California Eagles. We did get an explanation on why that hit to Broadhead when she got hit in the face was not a 2-minute call. Of the official who explained it to us had said the ball ricocheted off her hands before making contact with her face. So it still hurt, but it has to be an unabated direct shot for that 2-minute suspension. So wanted to clear that up for you. And Broadhead, though, doesn't look phased in the slightest. No, but we're going to have a keeper change, though, for the second half. How common is that, Kurt? We've seen a few of that today. Afuma Windham, if I'm saying that right, will take over.
So it's not uncommon, honestly. Once again, this is, at the end of the day, the highest level handball in America, but it is still technically amateur handball. So oftentimes, teams with 2 or 3 keepers, they'll just cycle them through. The last thing you want is to have one keeper play 90% of the tournament, and then all of a sudden in a clutch moment they go down or something, and the other person hasn't even touched a ball all game. So they'll usually do like an alternating half thing, or put one in at the beginning of the second to sub out for the half part, or the second half part of the second. So it's not uncommon. And Massif bobbling possession, keeps possession. Number 11, and she sails it just over the net. That's Mira Chu on a great shot. Just could not connect, though.
A little too high. And what you're explaining, it gives the keepers a chance to get some playing time. It keeps your primaries from getting winded, but also it gets your backups ready to go in case they are needed.
Exactly. I mean, just like any game with a keeper, and that's a great shot. Number 12, I believe. No, number 13. Once again, we do not have the names. Number 13 has been on fire all game. But yeah, I mean, you like any game with a goalie system involved, you don't want to put in keepers right in a clutch moment that haven't played at all. They aren't in the mindset. They aren't on a hot streak. They don't feel good about it. It's a much more mental position than most other outfield positions are.
And with the schedule set up where just about every team is going to play twice today, and then we'll conclude group stage play tomorrow, we'll also have some practice sessions in tomorrow's slate of games.
Yes,
so
I believe the
women's national team will be
that's pretty cool.
coming over to court 2, so we'll get a little bit of a break tomorrow, but with everyone playing twice, you almost, by necessity, as we get a save from Wandim, almost by necessity want to rotate your keepers.
Oh, of course. I mean, think about it this way, in any sporting setting. Yep, number 13. She's you're going to have to get the stats on her at the end of this. In any sporting setting, you can be the most physically fit, athletic person that you think you are, but when it comes down to it, you don't want to be playing 120 minutes of a high-speed, full-contact sport like this in a day. It's just a lot of sports. And 21 tries to break through the line, doesn't get there, though.
That was Leas Moraes Nascimento, one of the 3 Brazilians, and Leas again. And going back to that suspension, now California, I think they've scored 3 in a row now. Massive Salt Lake worked their way to even it up. You get the suspension, California gets a buzzer beater, and now they've scored the first 2 goals of this half. I know 3 goals isn't that much in handball, but how big could that be?
It's huge. The heuristic that I use and that most handballers would say is 1 minute for 1 goal if you're going for a comeback. Reason is you need about 30 seconds to set up a solid play, get the ball in the back of the net, and then you need to hold out for about 30 seconds. Ooh, and that's a high contact hit by number 11 Massif on Mira Chu against number 11 for California there. Did not look fun. And she may have to step out. Doesn't look like it. Referee's talking with her.
Got hit around the nose, and it wasn't a malicious grab. It was Mira Chu just making the grab, what you're allowed to do if your offensive assignment's in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely are.
There's a
absolutely
check.
Are. But you're going to want to keep your hands down, which, I mean.
And a suspension.
And, yeah, that'll be
Chirilla.
On Chirilla, yeah, wow. That's going to impact things. So you were asking earlier about, what's that suspension going in halftime going to do? Exactly this. Massif is very clearly now starting to kind of, not fall apart, but they're definitely shaking. Take another huge 2-minute on one of their key players in the middle there. And just like that, that's a block not for Sophie Broadhead or even for Afuma. That is a block for Marilia Cantagesi.
They're putting in all the keepers.
Yes, absolutely.
Marilla
also a Denverite. I've played with her a few times during practice sessions. Great to see her out there to get her first block on the day.
Well, we talk about momentum turners and sparks. Hicks lost it, but Salt Lake is going to get the ball back.
Yeah, and once again, Kia Hicks clearly with that stretch of a shot, she was looking to get some momentum back on Massif's side. And just like that, she might have done it.
Kurt, I don't know what will happen. That might be my candidate for play of the game. That was a Chris Carter-like goal, if you football fans know who I'm talking about.
That was an excellent goal. by Kia Hicks. That's exactly what Massif needs right now. Get mentally back in the game, get some confidence built, and a pretty good defensive hold, too. There we go.
It looks like they got California to get into that pocket.
Absolutely, and
Hicks
California
avoids.
going for it, misses it, passes it, Chim, sinks it home.
Hicks with the dime. A Chim with the score. Kurt, we mentioned going into the break, Hicks in position, primed to be that X factor. Here she is, responsible for the last 2 goals.
Yeah, I think we basically called it exactly. We said, you know, it's going to impact SLC a lot, and then all of a sudden they're going to need to have a nice string of defense, and just like that, Afuma Wyndham with another block, down to a Chim, and she sinks it.
Hicks to a Chim again, and we are tied up, and Salt Lake is doing this shorthanded, 3 shorties.
That is an absolutely amazing sequence for Massif. That is huge, and just like that, Roxana Sharilla is out of her foul trouble. She's back in the game.
3 shorties, but it began with that block by
Oh, and it's a
16.
kickball.
Oh, wow.
Kickball, football, and it's if
I knew what
the
you
foot contacts it.
Yes, I've been calling it a kickball myself, but do you sense the vibe shifting here to Salt Lake?
Yeah, I mean, I fully did not expect this. I really didn't. Out the beat, it looked like Massif had been just mentally out of it for this half, and they just completely turned tables on Cal there.
Well, it began with that block by Kandagesi on the penalty throw, and then punctuated by Hicks and that tiptoe goal. I've seen a few players use their last possible moment in midair before they release it, because as long as you don't land, it's still valid. But I've never seen a tiptoe goal like that before.
Oh yeah, it's the sign of a great pivot. And speaking of great pivots, number 33 there for Cal, able to sneak past the defense, sink it through. They are definitely ramping up the energy here. I don't know how the other court's doing right now, but I am very glad to be watching this game. This has been excellent.
And we had another suspension.
Yeah, I don't know exactly who went out for that one. I think it might have been Sharilla again, actually.
And that would be her second by our count. One more and she's done.
Yes, that's a huge thing for handball, is that it's kind of like foul trouble for basketball. It's kind of like foul trouble for hockey, and it's kind of like cards for soccer. If you're a fan of any sport, you're a fan of handball. And Mira Chu out of the backfield. That's Adanara Perrine to get some play time out there on the wing. I hadn't seen her in the first half. She's also a Denverite.
Windine got the kick save on the last sequence, but
Absolutely.
now she's got an
And
uncontested look. Number 13 cashes
1-3.
in.
Absolutely doing numbers for California right now.
So Salt Lake working their butt off to tie this up. California swooping back with a counter punch.
This is exactly the kind of high-energy game that you want to turn into if you don't know what's going on in the sport. This has been amazing to watch the second half so far.
And it's reminiscent of the group stage game we had earlier today between Minnesota and Columbus.
I don't want to talk about that game, actually.
Oh, you're on. That's right. You're on the Columbus side. Well,
Yes, sir.
would you prefer talking about that goal by Saldana?
That was an exceptional wing shot. That's just picture perfect what you want. That's what you're going to train your wingers to do. It's almost been a complete flip between the high defense of the first half to the high offense of the second. It's been amazing to watch, though. This is exactly what you want to see as a third party.
And emblematic of the changes in strategy approach. I know it gets thrown around a lot. What changes did you make at halftime? What adjustments? I think we're seeing that here. Both sides getting a lot more done on offense.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hicks almost got the steal.
Did get the steal.
Oh,
and it goes out.
Well, points for trying. I'm never going to fault somebody if they don't quite get a steal when they were making a play for it. And again, Hicks really stepping up in the second half.
You cannot say that there's a player on that field that's not honestly giving it their all right now, and that's just what you want to see.
And this is just the first group stage game. We're not even into the placement games yet. But these two teams know you get that first group stage win, you've got the upper hand.
Yeah, especially in these multi-game per day tournaments. That first group stage game is going to be critical. To open Pandora's box, yeah, it was not fun going down on that Columbus team. And that is a Chim with a very hard defensive play. Stoffel's going to talk to her, but it doesn't look like he's going to do anything too severe there.
She already has one suspension.
One thing you don't see too much out of the American game that I think is kind of the next stages for a lot of these teams that you just saw there actually is real play calling and not just athletic plays happening. You saw that there with the wing interplay with the center back specifically. That's a long cross, or every team's got a different take for it, but it's a very good play to disrupt the defensive line. Breakaway number 13. And, just sails wide.
Prime moment for a player who has converted on several of them and just whiffed it. But it happens to the best of us.
You almost wonder if they go back and just wish someone would clip highlight reels for them.
What do we have now?
And Joshua Forstoffel is going to make some hand motions.
I saw the signal to stop the clock.
Yes, I believe the clock is stopped right now as Josh explains to Hicks what's happened. But it is going to be Massif ball with a suspension. Okay, Massif ball with a 2-minute.
I'm looking around to see what is exactly happening here. It looks like California. Yeah, Hicks will be hit with a suspension.
Okay, they're giving a 7 to California. I'm not exactly sure. We would have to check with the replay booth. Unfortunately, they are currently in Cancun.
I wouldn't mind being there myself.
Yeah, I think it's hot enough to mimic Cancun here. I do wish I had a free daiquiri, but unfortunately, Vegas doesn't roll with that.
So here comes Cantagesi.
Cantagesi out of Brazil.
For this penalty throw.
And number 13 just increases her box score. Excellent, excellent finish there. Not much Marilia could have done about that one.
So Hicks hit with the suspension. It's 5-on-6 now. I'm not exactly sure what transpired.
Yeah, I'd have to look back at the tape on that one. I didn't see clean, but I didn't see 2 either. And just like that, on a sloth, I think that's her first on the game, sinks a wing shot in. It's going to be 14-16, I think, or is that 16-16? A little bit of confusion out of the tables there.
16-14 is the score we have. Make
and
it 17-14.
17-14 right there as California definitely starts to pull away.
Number 13, she's a player to watch.
Yeah, seriously, she's been on fire today. I think it also speaks volumes. The 2 minutes that Massif is starting to get are really starting to impact their ability to have a concurrent offense or defense. With number 4, Soka Narambatar coming on there. Looks like she'll be occupying the wing spot as Kia Hicks tries to get through the line, just can't get it done. That'll be a 9.
They called her inside the pocket.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that is an interception. More like a bobble catch, but.
An errant pass. Salt Lake gets the ball back. Leyes.
Lay with the shot. Excellent goal. That'll lower the lead to 2.
Lay and Salt Lake resilient, if nothing else. California, they've been poised for a breakaway several times. Salt Lake has found an answer, but can they get enough done to retake the lead? That's the question.
Well, there's still plenty of time on the clock. Like I was saying earlier, you budget yourself about a minute if you have a plan and if the plan works to get a goal back. So right there, you already see, ooh, that's
another
not good.
2-minute.
2 minute on Natalia Chim would be it for her, I believe. That or the next one.
It's her second for sure. And another penalty throw. All these suspensions, Kurt, against Salt Lake in the second half, hampering their ability to really make a charge.
You know, I will say this much too. California is a more experienced team as a team, and you know, a lot of those women have played for the other California teams. They played for the Cal Heat women's side and a few others that I think I'm aware of. But a lot of that just builds a certain level of experience more than skill. I think no one can tell you that this Massif team isn't skilled, but they're definitely losing their cool a little bit more and maybe making some fouls that they shouldn't have made.
It's the cohesiveness that seems to be working in California's favor.
You know, that's an excellent word for that, cohesiveness. English is only my first language.
It's also my first language, but the chemistry, cohesiveness, that fluidity you see so often. Salt Lake, like you said, not lacking in talent. We've seen that from folks like Hicks especially. But California seems to be more in sync.
Definitely.
And that can go a long way when you have close games like this. It's been 2-3 goals all the way through as Lay got hit. Hicks making contact. We've got a player down.
That's a California player on the ground. She's
and they're going
getting
to
up on her own power, I think.
Issue another suspension, it looks like, against Hicks.
That might, yep, that'll be another 2 for Hicks.
And this speaks to, I wouldn't say cohesiveness, but that polish, that poise.
I think also just at the end of the day, you know, you tie a team like Cal. It's like, if you're a basketball guy, you'll understand this. When the Mavs absolutely blow out the Wolves, a lot of people said, oh, well, maybe Anthony Edwards isn't that guy. Maybe, you know, Karl Anthony Towns ain't. Well, no. That's the first time the Wolves have gotten that far. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to, you know, measure themselves, keep their composure. And frankly put, when you start going down a little bit, that frustration builds a lot faster when you're about to accomplish something like knocking off Cal Eagles. So I really think that's what we've got here is just, you know, they got up, they got real close. They had an amazing few sessions where, or segments of the game where they really looked the better team. And at least for right now, they've definitely let the frustrations get the better of themselves.
Well, look at this. It's led to a 3-woman advantage for California.
Yeah, if you're
now back to 5-on-6.
Cal, honestly, moving a little slower than I thought with such a numerical advantage. Just pass the ball around, find that opening. And
interesting.
Oh, there we go. A Chim going for it, pushed in the backfield, and
well, it backfired.
It was close to being amazing.
She went for the home run play, and California was able to feast on it. I was about to say, I was surprised at how deliberate they were considering their advantage.
Yeah, Chim definitely is trying to make something happen here, probably against her coach's best wishes, as number 13 sinks yet another one for the Eagles.
This could be the dagger run.
Yeah, you definitely see some motion on the Massif bench. I think they may call a timeout here soon.
That's what they plan to do. Well, first they have to get their timeout card back.
Joe with the shot. Oh, just wide by Ajanara Marios.
But we have just under 11 minutes left. California with their largest lead of the game.
You really, if you're Massif, you need to take this time out and just take a breather. Go get a water cup, you know, splash some in your face. Just find your composure again. Let Cal make mistakes just like that. let Cal put themselves in precarious positions, right? You don't need to be running around. You've got plenty of time left in this game. You can still come back. And that's a great shot by California, number 11.
And a solid recovery after a nearly broken play. Hicks and Achim back out on the floor. They both have 2 suspensions, 1 more, and that's it. Achim to Hicks.
And it almost goes in, but California's goalkeeper with a great stop.
Hicks nearly had another tiptoe score to her highlight reel.
Yeah, that would have been a huge one for this Massive side. I think that would have probably put a lot of confidence back in their side.
Instead, California can drop that hammer. Well, another stop, but time not on Salt Lake's side. Outlet pass is long, goes into that 6-meter zone, so California's goalie can pick it up.
California coach now making the all too familiar slow down motion. They don't need to do any specific antics here. They don't need to make highlight reels. They just need to hold possession, get goals where they can. And number 13 almost doing just that. It was some great work by Fuma Wyndham, though, to stop that one and give Massive some time. And I believe, Massive will go ahead and they will call their first time out of the half. Is that correct?
Their first. Again, you get 1 per half and that flex, so I believe they have 1 more remaining. 9:02 to go. California up by 6. Kurt, I think you summed it up best. After the quick 3 goals to tie it up, a series of 2-minute suspensions on Salt Lake, and a lot of clutch playmaking from 13 and 11 to add to this lead. After it was tied at 12-12, it's a 9-3 advantage for the Eagles.
Exactly, and you definitely see, California, as I was saying, they've got a lot of composure. This team is extremely experienced. They've been through it before. They've played against the best that the United States has to offer. And, you get into those clutch situations where you need someone who's done it before. Just like practicing a new sport, just like practicing a new skill, the first few times you do it, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna take some time. You're gonna mess up your pronunciation, so to speak. But not the deal here for California. They are absolutely running away with it at this point. We'll see if Massive can stop that bleeding.
Following this game, we are running a little behind schedule, but it will be Miami and Columbus as we return to men's Division II Group B action.
Yeah, and you can tune into that game if you so wish. This is Las Vegas, the city of sin, I think, whatever it's called. Plenty of gambling here, and as someone who plays for Columbus, I don't want to risk a suspension by the USHU. But whatever the betting line is on Miami, go ahead and give them the over. They looked absolutely deadly today in their game against Dallas. I have all the faith in the world in my guys, but that's going to be a brutal one.
Miami putting up a 40 spot. Hicks adding another goal for Salt Lake. If there's a comeback to be had, the time is now.
And excellent little shot there by the right back.
Number 19.
And that'll be a 7. Yeah. You can't really make too much contact with the player once they're in the air, so that's an understandable one.
So drawing the foul was Lay, and Achim will be the one to engage the penalty throw.
And she sinks it. Perfect shot. No nonsense, no time wasting. Stand up, look up, shoot.
7:40 left. Salt Lake, though, can't afford to trade goals here if they want to work their way back, pick up that group stage win, or even a draw.
Definitely. They need to just play smart defense right here, and honestly, there's hope.
Speaking of defense.
Or if you're Kia Hicks, put the game on your back and sink an amazing goal in after a steal. Wow, what a segment. That was excellent by Kia Hicks.
And a pinch of gutsiness, too. Remember, she has 2 suspensions.
Yeah, she is really not even phased on her aggressiveness there, which we'll hope that pays off for her.
She'll be called for the grab there, but Hicks, unapologetic. She figured it got us back even. I might as well stick to what works. There is a stop.
Afuna Wayne Dib stopping that one from happening.
Hicks calling out traffic as Salt Lake resets. They still have 6.5 to go. Not quite in pressure cooker panic mode yet.
No, not at all. It's close, but you're not quite there, especially with these this last minute or so. Has been a great rally by Massif. If they can make another defensive stop here, they may get the confidence up to make it happen.
Lay scoring the last goal for Salt Lake as California resets. Kurt, if nothing else, this Salt Lake team, we'll see what the second leg of group stage play brings later tonight, but this team just does not back down.
Man, I have honestly been shocked at Massif's performance. This is a standout performance regardless of the end at this point. If they can hold, ooh, we had number 11 to go down holding her head again. She suffered a head knock earlier. I hope she's okay. But if Massif can hold and if they don't, suddenly implode right here or give up, I think that this team could very easily medal in this tournament right now.
A couple of errant passes leads to a turnover. This is the opportunity, the moment.
Mayer inbounding that one. Just doing some interplay in the back. You notice Bianca Mayer actually moved from the center back all the way out to wing once Chim started playing. It's a rather interesting move. Usually if you have a center back replacement, they'll just take the directional backs. And Kia Hicks almost with just a dirty down low goal there, but she'll take the foul instead.
They'll restart at the 9-meter line.
Yeah, that's number 13.
There's
Ingrid
another
Lemos.
grab. Lemos and number 6 getting into it. A Chim.
A Chim going up, screaming on her way down.
Was she hit on the way up?
I would have called it a hit. I'm not sure if I'd give any more than a 9, though.
And it looks like that's what's going to happen. Yep, 9-meter restart. 13. Right idea. This is taking away some time off the clock, though, for these resets.
Right. Catch-22, you have possession, but you really don't even want it right now. You want to be in a position where you're scoring quickly and then focusing on defense to get it back even more quickly.
Hicks goes outside.
Now that will be a 7, referee Joshua Forstoffel. And once again, you can feel palpably the tension rising in this game right here as both sides are not willing to admit their own errors.
Lay was hit in midair by number 11, and again that.
And yep, that'll be a 2-minute. As Soka Narambatar comes off, and as Katiana Saldana goes on. And Cal will be down a player with not much time left on the clock here. Just over 3 minutes, it looks like.
A Chim laces in the penalty throw.
As she is so obliged to do. Has she missed I think she may have missed one so far. Everything else has just been guaranteed.
You'll take that percentage. But California now a woman down. We haven't seen them play shorthanded in some time.
Now, admittedly, they may be shorthanded. This is honestly kind of exactly what California wants, though. They want slow build-up offense where they can take a foul or two, slow things down even more. Because the clock does not stop on a foul in handball. So if they go through and they can't make the goal happen, that's okay. So long as they get the foul, which they didn't do there. So
13,
back to Massif.
13 nearly had a big one there, but it just skirted the crossbar up top. Hicks.
Kia Hicks.
She got grabbed. Yellow.
Yellow card to the California goalkeeper, or excuse me, not goalkeeper, what am I saying? Coach. And Kia Hicks, I'm not sure if they gave that one or not. It doesn't look like it, though, no.
No, just a restart.
I think she would have rather taken the goal there, and it did go in. A Chim out to the left back. Oh!
Lots
Serious
of
push.
Whoa, my goodness!
But they'll take that instead. And
that was
Massif goes out.
Saldana.
What's the spread now?
22-21. Saldana, though, with a harsh angle.
And that's a timeout for California as we go into the last 2 minutes of this game, I believe.
1:55 is the time on the clock.
And this has turned into nothing less than probably the best game I've seen all tournament. I guess we had some ties here and there, but this has been an absolute barn burner. Both teams, high-powered offense, high-powered defense, high level of emotion on that defense, causing a lot of fouls and penalties.
And how about that last goal? Whenever you come from the corners like that, soccer, lacrosse, handball, no different. Saldana, after the contact play, the officials are giving them some leeway, but Saldana coming up huge to make it a one-goal game. And as Mike Joy likes to say, and while he's calling NASCAR races, this changes everything.
Yeah, I don't think Saldana's going to be too upset with that. I mean, as you said, in any sport, those corner goals, you know, whether it's a corner three, a Olympia, whatever it might be, scratching it in when you've got a goalie or you've got a defense and it's just such a hard goal to make, that in and of itself, it may not be the highlights that Kia Hicks has been giving us, but it's going to give your team a lot of morale saying, hey, we scored and they did everything right on defense. That's huge.
If you're watching this on the live stream, our next game will be a little behind Miami and Columbus. But don't worry, we'll make sure Kurt's out in time to enjoy what Las Vegas has to offer. Right now, we're enjoying this photo finish that's awaiting us.
This is going to be a big one. This may go down as my personal game of the tournament, at least for day one. This has been exceptional. A minute left, Massif down one. California looking to score, passing through the backfield, looking for something, looking for an opening. Not too upset holding down the clock too, though, as they go both teams back to full strength.
And remember, they can't get too passive.
And that'll be a 9.
Looks that way.
Yes, the passive rule for anyone who out there doesn't know the rules. The referees, I think it's a specific amount of time, but only the referees really know. The referees, if the ball is held too long, great save.
Rebound, goal!
And California goes up 2.
Is that the dagger?
That might just be it. That might just be it. We'll discuss passive rules later. There's more important things going on. Salt Lake City almost out of bounds, and it is out of bounds. Massif giving up a huge possession from a simple out of bounds on the side.
And with under a minute left, that just might secure that first group stage win for California.
It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder now. Massif not looking to make too aggressive of a defensive play either. 13, back pass. Left back passes out to right. 11 looking to score. 11 through. No! Broadhead blocks it. Referee says out of bounds. Broadhead desperately trying to collect the ball as it goes out of the back of the net, like the defensive net, not the actual net.
13 seconds.
A Chim. 13 seconds. A Chim. She's drawn down for a 7. She's drawn down for a 7. They're down 2. She is going to get a free shot on goal.
With 6 seconds left, though, would you have enough time?
It ain't over till that thing says 0.
Here comes the penalty throw.
Oh,
it's high.
it's over!
It would have been asking a lot anyway following a penalty throw had it gone in, but California hangs on 23-21 to pick up the group stage win in the opening leg of this tournament.
And after a high-energy, high-impact game, that's how it ends. I am not disappointed.
That was a lot of fun, but I think it goes back to the poise, the competence, and that fluency that California has. I see a few hugs as well. California maybe has a little more of that on their side, but every team gets to play 2 more games, so Massive Salt Lake perhaps can take some lessons from this game to polish up that chemistry for their next group stage game.
Yes, sir. I'm going to have to run here soon, but I will say as a last note, this is the ultimate example of experience versus skill. Both can get you all the way down to the wire, but I think the decider here was not any particular player because there were a lot of stars out there. But it all goes down to simply Cal has been here before, and Massif just didn't have that in them.
That being said, we've got plenty more handball coming your way, and as Kurt says, he has to run because he's got to suit up for this next game, Miami and Columbus in men's Division II Group B. So we will get you to that in just a few minutes as we continue live coverage of the U.S. Handball Union National Championships from the Westgate in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.